Welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I'm your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you. And let's party. Big shout out to the replay gang. Thank you so much for coming back to watch this, even though you missed the live party. Guys, that is the best part. So make sure you are here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and you will never miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again. Let's also say thank you to mysickshirt.com, the only place to get your very own The Indian Jesus official merch. Only at mysickshirt.com. All right. We got Soil to Soul in the building. We got Zippy signing in. Welcome to the party, guys. So I'm sure you know that, or maybe you don't know, that there's Republican GOP debates going on, I think, like now-ish. I don't even really know. But that is guaranteed to be boring. And if there is any great moments, you're going to just get the clips tomorrow. So, I mean, all the people who are wasting their time doing that, I think they're silly. We, instead, are going to be checking out the recent podcast Club Random with Bill Maher when Neil deGrasse Tyson was on. And I haven't watched any of this, but I heard it gets crazy. Shout out to ER5100. Welcome to the party. Good to see you guys. As always, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
The man himself. Do I genuflect? What do I do?
Dr. Dynamite.
Come here, give me a hug.
I know we did this the last time, but it's just a weird thing to have the start of your show being you entering. Like, come on.
Absolutely.
How you doing, man?
Professor of personality. How are you? Look at you. I got you in my lair.
It's in your
and look,
cave.
You're already
man cave.
No, that's for a married.
That's exactly what Vivek called it, a man cave. Oh man, or excuse me, Candace. When Candace was on, she called it a man cave, and he does not like that. I don't know what his aversion to man caves are. I mean, I kind of get it, but like that's the second time in a row. Shout out to Unwanted Foe. Welcome to the party. Speaking of great camera angles, what is that? What is that? Yeah, Any Film was pointing out the terrible one shot when it's just Bill and it's supposed to be like over the shoulder, and it's just look out for it. Welcome to the party, brother.
This is a discotheque. So, well, you can't tell without the music, but and you've already leaned on your prop. I love authors who aren't shy. Well, we will get to this. I've been reading this. You know what?
You have? Yeah, okay.
It's much more pop culture.
Yeah, very pop culture.
So you dumbed it down for me personally?
No, I provided scenery along the way while you're learning your science. You can capture some pop culture moments.
What?
Soil the Soul says, FYI, I told my mom about your channel. I don't know if she would chat, probably very little. So shout out to Soil the Soul's mom, Colette. Shout out to Colette if you are watching. Welcome to the party.
What are the scientists talking about these? What's new in outer space, Doc?
No, I feel like half of me is tending to scientific diversions in the public. You know, aliens or UFO sightings.
I know. We'll get to
one thing I want to look at is that aliens and moon sightings. That aspect of smugness from Neil. I see he's got some whiskey in his hand. Let's see how much worse that gets. Or is he going to drop it? And is he going to become even better? Is he going to become less smug when he drops the character that is Neil deGrasse Tyson that we all know and don't love? At least not anymore.
But I want to know, actually, like when you're in the coffee clutch with your other egghead.
What do we talk about?
What's the gossip out there? What's putting a tingle in your anus?
Okay. That's not where I get my tingles.
You know I was going to work that.
Yeah, I don't know about your anus, but
okay.
Yeah.
So
my anus.
Liberals?
What is going on with Uranus? You must know. Like, do planets like that change? Or
they have
some gossip we could get.
No, not from Uranus. That would be Uranus, obviously. Okay.
Oh, really? Is that the way you're supposed to?
If you're older than age 8, yes, you say Uranus.
Do you have a drink?
Yeah,
Do you want a drink?
Put a 1 in the chat if you know that it's pronounced Uranus, but you still say Uranus, because why wouldn't you?
I'm doing a Grand Marnier here.
What do you drink? A Grand Marnier?
Yeah, I'm a wine guy, but when I have wine, it's with food.
Oh.
And generally not otherwise. But if I'm just chilling, as I am with you.
Excuse me, a wine guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can.
So we're gonna amend the projection drink, and we are also gonna have a Smugness drink. And it has to reach a certain level, because otherwise we're gonna die. We're gonna die. We're just gonna have to drink so much. But Smugness alert. If it gets to a certain level, let me know if you guys think it meets the threshold where we need to just be like, God damn.
Hang with the snobbiest among them. So just
really, I mean, you mean like you know about wine?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Academically, yeah. I mean, I know. Oh yeah. Sure.
So that's like a hobby?
Yes, that's a right way to say that. So if you had like an
Australian that works. That's the right way to say that. Smug. We're gonna be drinking a lot tonight, guys. So get ready. Get ready.
Shiraz, a California Cabernet, a California Zinfandel, a French Bordeaux, French Burgundy, a Spanish Rioja. I would just go right on down and tell you which one they are. The brain.
Look how much Bill just does not care.
The human brain barely works.
Except for mine.
Enough about Matt Gage. Good night, everybody.
No, it barely works.
All right, good one, Bill.
You know, two people viewing the same thing give a different account.
Right.
We've known that psychologists have known this forever. And
so has everyone else.
Optical illusions where, is the one line bigger or smaller? I don't know. I can't tell. Is it in the page? Simple line drawings can confuse the mind.
That one is very confusing. It just is. All of these are, or else they wouldn't put them in a book.
This is my point. So
don't look down on us.
If the brain barely works,
right,
cannot convince me that stirring in other chemicals will make objective reality more apparent to you.
Oh, but it does.
Oh, bruh, you must be so much fun at parties. All that to say, all that was in response to the fact that he's still drinking Grand Marnier. Come on.
It has.
No,
of course it has.
No, here's the difference.
More artistic.
That's different. Fine.
I know.
Fine.
But I am sure.
If it unlocks creativity, fine.
Right. Well, there's no creativity in your field.
There is, however, in my field, nature is the judge, jury, and executioner of my creativity.
Right.
Whereas to an artist,
correct.
There's room there.
You're right.
That's the difference. If Van Gogh did not paint the Starry Night, or Beethoven didn't compose the Ninth Symphony, no one ever born after them is going to do that. Whereas if Einstein wasn't born, somebody or some combination of people would have eventually found relativity. No doubt about it. So our creativity is on a landscape where there's only going to be one answer there, not for the artist. So stir in the chemicals for the artist, and you'll see the world in whole new ways.
Okay,
well, art, music,
you know what,
and with the microdosing, that's a whole frontier right there, right?
This is not a hill I'm going to die on with you, because I'm basically of the same mind, because I know, especially through relationships, being in.
I just have to be the smartest one in the room, so I'm of the same mind. I totally get you.
In show business, I always say I'm in show business. I'm not of it. So I'm not over there with the, I know what you mean, but I've known people who were artists, in a relationship level, and they just come at a truth a different way. It's not linear and it's not rational. We call these people women. No.
No. All right, I'll give him that one. Shout out to Mike W in the building. Welcome to the party. Said I used to like Neil when I was a kid and his science stuff, but now I can't stand listening to his political opinions. Joe Rogan will not have him on anymore because he interrupts when Joe talks. Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. And I was certainly, like, my dad always hated Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I didn't get it. Because I was at the time that we were talking about that, I was in, how we talk about like red pill rage, and then we talk about how atheists have that if you come from religion and you lose that, that similar type of rage. So I was in my militant atheist phase, and Neil deGrasse Tyson was talking about science, and religion is wrong, and so he's being his smug self. But I'm liking it. That Schadenfreude of, oh, you stupid religious people, you don't know. And I didn't see it. I was just like, but he's right. Isn't he? And then he wasn't. Welcome to the party, Mike. Good to see ya. So he said strippers are artists. I mean, there's an argument to be made. First funny joke so far. So the Soul said Neil should have stuck with science. But yeah, politics have invaded everything. And sometimes, well, most times, it's annoying AF. Exactly. And that's the problem with he, for the longest time, tried to stay out of talking politics. But like you're saying, it just has invaded everything. You can't get away from it. And for somebody like Neil, who was never trying to be a political guy, he was never even trying to get into the atheist religion stuff that much. But obviously, you know, that kind of stuff is going to be relevant to what you do. But then you are in the position of, oh, well, no, I don't want to take a side, and I'm not anybody, and you put yourself into the smaller and smaller box, and now, because years have gone by where you've been trying to avoid politics instead of learning, oh, okay, this has, you know, drilled its tentacles into every area of life, and I cannot get away from this. Now you're years behind the game, and you're smart in this area, much smarter than most people walking the earth. So you have, and I must be at least pretty smart when it comes to politics. Doesn't work like that, brother. Does not work like that. Hey, shout out to Nick Luchetti in the building. Welcome to the party. Good to see ya, brother. Good to see ya. So he says, I do not think emotion is artistic. One is a storm. The other is snarkily and subtly passive aggressive. Okay. Brooding Edgar Allan Poe over here. One of us said more money to be made in politics than science. Yup, you got it. Modern academics are worshiping the institution. This means you fear and cower and repeat the narratives of the institution. Yep, just toe the line.
Not just what, but there is an artistic way of perceiving reality, and it can be very frustrating. Like if you are, I'm much more of the logical type, you know.
Are you though?
And
do other people think that about you?
Yes, they do.
Okay, just checking.
I know the fact that you and I.
What kind of laugh is that? A smug one.
I disagree on a number of things. Makes me sometimes question, like, well, maybe he's wrong about the outer space shit. Because normally what I do...
Well, if someone who disagrees with you means they're wrong and you're right?
No, it just...
That's what you just said.
Well, it does question...
Called them out. So if anybody disagrees with you, they're wrong. Now, I think that's a cheap shot from Neil. But it'll be interesting to see how Nick... it'll be interesting to see how he calls that back. But by Neil. Mike said, Neil reminds me of Fauci. How dare you bring up that name? When they get famous, they become arrogant and an arrogant know-it-all. Yep. And so the Soul agrees. All right, let's see how he handles that one.
About the outer space shit. Because normally what I do...
Wait, if someone who disagrees with you means they're wrong and you're right?
No, it just makes...
That's what you just said implied that.
Well, it does question... If you disagree with someone on like A, B, C, D, and E,
right,
and then F. See, F for us would be like your field, which I know nothing about, and I know you're a genius in. I know that. So like when questions about astrophysics come up, I always just go, whatever Neil deGrasse Tyson says, I'm down with that. Okay. If he says the Big Bang Theory happened and the whole universe fit into a marble, it sounded a little fucking weird.
Yeah. The universe is under no obligation to make sense.
No, I understand that. Okay. And I understand that what I have faith in, and of course everything is faith, even though we're both atheists, what I have faith in is that
even though we're both atheists, there's still faith. Just because you're an atheist doesn't mean you have faith in nothing. It just means you don't have faith in a God.
Even though I can't understand how that happened, you do. You really do.
Okay. However,
you put in the 10,000 hours.
Okay.
You have the big brain. You figured this out.
Buttering them
and
up.
I trust you on that subject. I don't trust you on everything else.
But you don't have to.
I know.
Of course. But
There you go.
if I have
There you
a view of something that is factual, it's because the evidence I've seen supports that view. I don't have beliefs in things that are not otherwise supported by evidence. And I would ask you, what does it take to change your mind? Because I know exactly what it takes to change my mind. It's the weight of evidence.
Right.
Hey, shout out to Daniel Cabrera. Welcome to the party. Good to see you, brother. How you feeling?
To bear on a question or
and
my belief in it, if we use that word, is proportionate to that evidence.
Right. So, but people look at the same evidence. I mean, we're really talking about medicine now, even though we're not saying it for some reason.
Oh, we're on the trans thing already. Let's do it. The smugness is gonna come out.
And people look at the same evidence. That's why they say about doctors, get a second opinion. Because in medicine, it is still an opinion. And the experts disagree. Thousands and thousands of doctors and medical experts have disagreed about how we handled COVID. There was just a very big court case called Missouri versus Biden.
Oh, I thought we were talking about trans stuff. I'm pretty sure they're going to get there, but okay, word up.
Which decided in the favor of these doctors because they said they weren't allowed to get their point of view across because the government colluded with the tech companies, so we only heard one point of view. So, the science, there's no the in science for things like a new virus that we're still studying.
Excuse me, sir. I was told that if you say that on YouTube, that you are a horrible second-class citizen and deserve to be admonished and cast out of society. Oh, wait, it's 2023, not 2020. Gotcha. Daniel's speaking of COVID. Well, hope you feel better, brother. Shout out to you. Let's all drink to Dan's good health.
And still don't know a lot about. And that's why there is dissenting opinion, lots of it. You don't even hear all of it because they're so intimidated. So something like that.
I'd like to address that.
Go ahead.
Okay. So with the Monday morning quarterback, as we all are after the facts, we could go back and restructure how the rollout would have and should have been done. There's no question about it.
Oh, there's the famous camera angle. Why? Why would you do this?
Okay. About, the discovery of the virus, the development of the vaccines, the rollout of the vaccines, the progress of the virus, the mutations of the virus, the lethality of the virus.
Yep, keep listing all the things that you were wrong about that people like us knew very long before we were allowed to say it out loud.
The comorbidities of the virus, all of that could have come out better. And I'd like to think somebody made a book of recommendations from this. So the next time we have another pandemic, which is not, we don't have to wait a century for that we're prepared in a way that people are properly informed. That's my first.
Well, we're making that book as we go because lots of stuff we know now that we didn't know. And a lot of it is like, oh yeah, no, that wasn't a good idea, or oh yeah, the virus actually.
Correct. But
but you have to say that out loud because there's people who have been singing that song all along, and again, you treated us like second-class citizens. So you don't just casually get to be like, oh yeah, well we were wrong about stuff, but you were still bad because I was told that I was right, so you're bad.
People were not honest enough about the uncertainties at the time they made their declarations. And part of it, the other half of this is when you learn about science in school, what do you think science is? And most people think it's what's in a book with bold-faced words that you memorize. And
it is a process.
Take the test. And you don't realize it's a process. Of varying nature.
Yes.
And coming to an understanding. So now here's my point. More relevant to what got you into this.
Oh, he's making a point? I thought he was just rambling because that's what he does.
Science is not the word of any individual. Science, the objective truths of science are established only when there's multiple tests. Multiple tests.
Yeah.
On a level where the individual no longer matters,
Right.
because it's the collective body of evidence.
Totally agree.
What we have in
I do agree. I don't like the language that the individual doesn't matter, because the individual always matters. It just may not be in the context that we are looking more at the collective than the individual. But nitpicking.
this world is, and you've seen this in all manner of categories. You're channel surfing on YouTube, and somebody says, the establishment thinks this, but I have the real answer, and they're trying to suppress it.
Yup.
This is irresistible to go listen to that one person who's opposite the establishment.
If only that were the case. If only Neil deGrasse Tyson that were the case. But right now, you are on Bill Maher's podcast, not me.
And here's the thing.
Okay.
Just because the establishment doesn't agree with you, it doesn't mean you're correct. So you can say this expert and this, I don't care about the expert.
But you're setting up a dynamic between the establishment, which is to say Dr. Fauci, and a crazy person who thinks there are chips in the vaccine.
Yes.
I'm talking about Fauci versus Dr. Martin Koldorf.
No, but I'm saying
Fauci versus Jay Bhattacharya. These are
hold on.
Based. I'm not talking about Fauci versus some random QAnon guy. I'm talking about doctor versus doctor. All right. Points scored for Bill Maher.
Okay.
These
Fauci.
So that's
I'm getting it.
So don't pretend.
Fauci, the one who didn't practice medicine at all. Fauci, the one who's the highest paid government official. Like, exactly. So the soul said Neil is setting up his idea of a false dichotomy. Yep. See, this is when you can start seeing it coming. You can start seeing the building blocks. You can see it from a mile away.
I'm on it. Fauci.
I'm on
Fauci. Fauci, in principle,
Who?
should, and most of the time does, represent the mainstream understanding of the drugs, the disease, the reactions, and the like.
The mainstream.
I would agree with that, and I think what Bill is about to say with this terrible angle is that yes, he does represent the mainstream idea, mainstream narrative, but it's wrong, or at least it was wrong for a long time. Shout out to Misanthropic Altruist. Welcome to the parties. Why is Neil such a punk? It's entitlement. He thinks he knows more than he does, so he thinks he's entitled to be a punk. Welcome to the party.
Which has been wrong about so many of it.
Well, this is well, then that's a separate
Called it.
conversation.
But it is.
Is it though? Is it though? Well, Fauci was the one giving the mainstream narrative, and the mainstream narrative was wrong. So Fauci was wrong, but we can't talk about Fauci versus another doctor because Fauci was right.
What?
That's the argument you just put forth.
It's a true conversation.
Hold on. So then he represents a mainstream. It's not because he's an expert. It's because he not only is he an expert, but that's not the issue here. It's that ideally he is conveying a community understanding.
Ideally, he is conveying a community understanding. Ideally. But that ain't what happened.
Of what's going on. Now,
you don't need to wear a mask. Okay, everybody wear a mask. We have too many masks. We don't have enough masks. The droplets can't get through. Conveying a community understanding of what's going on right now. Okay, well, if that is his job, then he failed. And Trump not firing him is one of the biggest issues I have with him.
you want to put him against another person who has pedigree, Harvard, Cornell, whatever, and you're going to say there's one expert against another. That's not how science works.
So why didn't you go to Cornell?
Oh, it never really came out in my biography.
I mean,
yeah, that never really came out.
It seems like.
Okay, so you're going to answer the question?
I tell you, I have this reason.
I mean, we both have a connection. I took his course, Carl Sagan.
What? He was there, capital H.
He was there like for one class.
Yeah, I'm told he was.
Well, he was a star.
Absentee.
I mean, I only took it because I saw him on the Tonight Show. And
yeah.
I was like, wow, I could take a course with this guy.
Yeah, Carl Sagan. For anyone who's not knowing who he's talking about.
Yes,
yeah.
And he's your, your hero, your mentor.
Yeah, he's. By the way, he's a mentor, not one-on-one, just by example. I mean, I saw what he did, how he said things, how he interacted with people.
It's more of a role model. A mentor is a one-on-one thing. Am I wrong about that? Am I being too nitpicky and saying, oh, he was my mentor? I never met him, but just like looking at him, that's a role model, brother.
Patience that he had for people whose brains were just somewhere completely off the rails.
Unlike me, which, you know, on those rails.
And so I've learned a lot from that, but not because he was a direct mentor, but because he set an example.
Oh, a shame. Neil does not learn by example. That's what would have, if he was an actual mentor, then Carl Sagan would have been able to be like, hey, chill the fuck out. You're being a dick. That's the difference between a mentor and a role model.
Example that I found valuable to follow. So he, just to catch people up, in case they didn't know, I was in high school, applied to a bunch of colleges. Yeah. Cornell was one of the ones I was accepted to. And unknown to me, the admissions office must have sent my application to him saying, here's someone we want to attract. Can you do anything about it? He sent me a letter. A letter. I'm a 17-year-old high school kid in the Bronx. Said, dear Neil, I understand you're considering colleges. Are you considering Cornell? If you want to come visit, come by. I'll give you a tour of the labs. You can find out what you make a decision.
But how did he?
Yeah, Emma is asking how did Sagan pull off not being as smug as Neil? Because it has nothing to do with being that intelligent. It has nothing to do with being in astrophysics. It has to do with your personality. Neil deGrasse Tyson is just a dick. It has nothing to do with Carl Sagan. And again, as Zibby said, if he was an actual mentor to Neil deGrasse Tyson, then we probably would not see the same NDT that we had before us.
How do you know that you were this prodigy?
My application to college was dripping with the universe.
Okay, right.
And it wasn't because of him. I was natively.
So he wasn't.
For the Gen Zers, he said he was rizzed up.
It wasn't just like a shot in the dark. He was like, I see that this kid is the one.
I had telescopes since I was. I walked.
But you put it in the application.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so he read something of yours and went, "Whoa, who is this?"
Oh yeah, I was in the astronomy club.
Phenom.
Yeah,
right.
I was on an expedition to study Stonehenge.
Right.
I had all of this stuff in my. It was my engagement with the universe was so thorough that it was a separate identity outside of whatever I was doing in a classroom.
Does that count? I think it does. Smugness drink. Who I was as a scientist was just so much bigger than who I am as a person. I'm just, you know, like a god.
And so I had energy for it. And so he saw that and sent me this letter. Right. So the letter was not completely out of the blue. There was justification there from within the application. It was dripping with the universe. So I showed it to my mother. She said, yeah, this is like legit. All right, let's do it. So got on a bus in December. Okay. Went up to Cornell, 5-hour bus ride that is.
Right.
And he met me outside the lab. We went in, met him and talked to him in his office. And I will never forget this. He did
AKA a guy looking for a science degree had science related shit on his application. Shocking.
The no-look reach. He went back like this, and it was one of his books. And I said, wow, that's badass.
You learned that. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen, to infinity and beyond.
He did a no-look reach, and it was one of his books, and he signed it to me. Of course, I still have it. He says, to Neil, future astronomer. Okay. Then the day ran long, and he drove me back to the bus station. It started to snow, not uncommon in Ithaca, New York. And he was wondering, he said, if the bus doesn't come through, here's my home phone number.
Did he touch you inappropriately? Where is this going? Where is this going?
Where is that? Yeah, come and spend the night, right? No. So.
Come on. The late, great Carl Sagan. How dare you? How dare you?
In the winter.
So I got on the bus. It still came through. I've had people tell me afterwards that I should have just said the bus didn't come through and then spend the night.
Right.
But anyhow, so I didn't end up going to Cornell because here's what I did. At the time, this is like inside baseball here, but I had subscribed to Scientific American, and my favorite part was about the authors. And people write for Scientific American as scientists; they're not journalists. So about the authors, it tells them where they went to college, where they got their master's, where they got their PhD, and where they were on the faculty. This is total information. I got all the articles on astronomy and physics that I loved, and I made a grid for which of the schools I was admitted to had check marks from these authors.
Wow.
Where they'd gone to college, where they were. And
bro, I mean, I know he's not running for president. Thank goodness. But when we talk about Ron DeSantis not being able to land the plane, like, spit it out, bro. Why didn't you go to the college?
Harvard
Wow.
won hands down.
Okay.
And I didn't know at the time that the Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics, which is a government installation, was co-located with the Harvard Observatory. And so the numbers.
So the last 6 minutes of content can be like, oh, well, Harvard had better shit. This is what frustrates me about people who are so deep in academia. They don't know how to speak like a person. Like, you could get a better, more humanized answer. And in fact, let's do that. I bet you we get a more humanized answer than we do with ChatGPT. So we'll say why did Neil deGrasse Tyson choose to go to Harvard? So, Roundhouse actually attended Harvard University's undergraduate, later pushed to Texas Austin. The reason he chose to attend Harvard is for an undergraduate education can be attributed to the combination of factors, including the prestige of the institution and opportunities in astrophysics and astronomy. Harvard is known for its strong academic programs and research opportunities in various scientific disciplines, including astrophysics. Wow, would you look at that? It's almost like you're just rambling because you think you're so special that a story of, oh yeah, this was the better option, is unique to you. That's not unique to you. Where we go? Yeah, we got that one. And I said, doesn't know how to speak like a person because the most recognizable science communicator. Yeah, putting it in terms that the community can understand. Not a shout out to Guam Tech. Welcome to the party. You got to train in time to make the streams. All you beautiful creatures, it is indeed a good night. Welcome to the party. We are making fun of two lefties, and it's already a fun show.
Installation was co-located with the Harvard Observatory. And so the numbers I was looking at was the sum of those two. But that's fine, because if you're looking for summer jobs and stuff, you know, it's all one complex of buildings. So I said, if I go to Cornell and he leaves, I knew enough to know that professors move around,
Right.
then I went to Cornell for a reason that then evaporates.
Right.
Whereas at Harvard, there's the sheer number of people doing astrophysics, I thought was a stable community to walk into.
So again, that means that Carl Sagan was a role model and decidedly not a mentor when he specifically could have been a mentor. Words matter, guys. Words matter.
And so I went to Harvard.
Is it a community? Or are most of your friends?
We all know each other. There are not many of us.
Not many astrophysicists?
No, there's
How many?
in the world, 10,000.
Yeah.
And there's, 8 billion people. So you divide those two numbers. We're literally 1 in a million human beings on Earth.
But
That certainly counts. I'm literally 1 in a million. We're all pretty unique. I don't know. I've never met another Lutch. I could be wrong, but I'm 1 in 8 billion. So
if you have an astrophysicist in the room with you, you better ask all your questions because you might not see another one for the rest of your life.
I told you we gonna get drunk tonight, guys. Oh, Smugness. Miss Anthropic Ultra says it's kind of tragic. Early in his career, Neil seemed genuinely curious and excited to share that curiosity. Yep. And now it's, well, I'm right about this, so listen to what I have to say. You're not smart enough. I got it. Why don't we just do that? Why don't we just have sports based on hormones? Because bone density is not a thing. Hey, shout out to CT223. We also got Ron in the building. Welcome to the party, guys. Good to see you. Zivian brings up, yep, as who is worse? Neil is worse. He should know better. Bill is doing his thing for clout. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but I think the he should know better part. I think you're right about that, because when you have an understanding, especially when you have a real, like like he said, 1 in a million. When you're that type of person in one area, then you have to have some awareness that, like, okay, clearly I'm not this good in every area. That wouldn't be reasonable. But he doesn't have that. He just thinks, oh, I'm good at this, so I must be good at everything. And they're 1 in 8 million after all. There you go. So by what Neil just said, you could make that same argument for any random homeless dude off the street. Oh, because yeah. Brilliant. See, there's difference between there was, for a while, there was a quasi debate. It wasn't really, it was a little more tongue in cheek than anything else. But in the philosophy and science world, like at large, with pop culture stuff, people like your Richard Dawkins, your Neil deGrasse Tyson, your Bill Maher the Science Guy, all these people that were like the science people in pop culture. There was this kind of attitude that philosophy was useless because now we can use the scientific method and philosophy is useless. And this is exactly pointing out why just knowing the things is not enough. It's not enough. It's the same thing that we get when we talk to the liberals and they don't everything has to have a number behind it in order for it to matter. Like, that's not how the world works. I mean, it is how the world works. It's just not merely how the world works. I was gonna need to stir up the for views. Fair enough. Miss Anthropic Ultra says Bill Nye versus Neil deGrasse Tyson. God hates us. We don't have Teslas or Einsteins. We get these clowns. Yep. Hey, shout out to Stephanie Miller. Welcome to the party. Good to see you. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. We got a bunch of new members. Shout out to Unwanted Foe for gifting 5 memberships. And of course, every single donation comes with a treat for my boy Morty here. Thank you. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you so much, sir. Very, very, very much appreciated. If you were gifted a membership and if you don't already have full access to the Discord server, make sure you join the server and send me a DM and you will get all of the access for the entire month. Thank you, sir.
But isn't there things that you...
Unless you're Bill Maher, you could just summon them up out of the ether.
Well,
wait, I forget what they were saying.
Room with you? You better ask all your questions because you might not see another one for the rest of your life.
But isn't there things that you...
Unless you're Bill Maher, you could just summon them up out of the ether.
Well, but there's no such thing as ether. Okay, so...
got it.
I'm being artistically poetic.
I know.
No, you're being wrong.
Is that allowed?
No, well, we're both in the other category, but we're combinations. You're a very creative guy in your field. I try to be. But
in fact, just a few days ago, I went back and saw your 2003 stand-up.
Oh wow!
In Hudson Theater in New York. It was very 9/11 focused.
Yeah.
So was everything else at that time.
But just to remind myself of you when you were young Tyke.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Man, what do you know? 60?
Oh, tomorrow.
Yeah.
I turn 65.
Oh, tomorrow?
That's my big day.
Oh, I wish I know.
No, I'm not broadcasting. No,
I know.
I've said it now, but no.
I would have baked you a cake or something.
No.
And that's a
tomorrow.
big...
It's a milestone. I'm getting all the mail from
True.
Medicare and
True.
and
Right.
old ARP,
Yeah.
AARP.
But it doesn't matter because look at you. You're robust, you look healthy, you look generically middle-aged. That's as good as you can do for
and
65.
keep that for a long time. Yeah, I see.
For 65.
Uh-huh.
That is as good as you
You
can
look at
do.
old movies, all the old people are 65 in the old movies.
Yeah.
A reminder that people didn't live long back then.
Well, I'm not going to lie. It is old. It's the thing. Among old people, we're the youngest. That's what we got.
Okay, you tell yourself that. All right. No, but I don't feel like my behavior is not old. Like,
is that a thing? Like, you can't get gifted a membership on an iPhone? Android for the win! One more time, let's go!
In important meetings, I still tell jokes and I spin in the board chair.
Oh,
because they're very low friction and they're fun to spin in. And I drink a lemonade when everyone else is having a beer.
Well,
I'll drink a milkshake when everyone else is having some. I do.
I mean, the reason why you're such a great communicator is because, like most people who know what you know, they're deadly dull communicating it. It's like James Brown.
I will give him credit for that, and I think he goes too far in that direction. But he does, he does make it more interesting than 99% of the people who are in that situation. Most people are, it's going to be, like he said, very dry and boring and wordy and lingo and all this stuff. So you can't take that away from Neil deGrasse Tyson. That he definitely. He definitely has an ability to take very high level concepts and bring them down. It's just what happened because he knows he can do that. It's like when the hot girl knows she's hot. Anthropic also says, I never get gifts either. It's because I am trans black. Well, we don't like your kind around here.
Went to Harvard and got his degree. You're just,
I feel good.
No. Well, the audience feels good when you.
No, thank you. Thank
you.
No,
it's true.
It's because I'm feeling.
I mean,
I feel the content.
I mean,
I can feel the like they're waiting to get into it. Remember, they started off with these, pretty sharp jabs. I can feel them waiting to get into it, but they're just trying to maintain this air of politeness and civility. When it breaks, it won't break.
Became a brand. You got
not on purpose.
Your
but it just
podcast is
yeah.
huge. I mean, Cosmos remains one of my favorite television shows of all time, and this is going back to McHale's Navy. I'm telling you,
McHale's Navy.
But
Ernest Borgnine, McHale's Navy.
Yeah, do you remember that when you were a kid?
Okay. I always saw it. They always show him leaning over the edge, but I said, but if it's flat, that's not the front of the boat. Wouldn't he be looking to the front of the boat? The boat would be pointing. I always had issues with that.
What is this obsession you have?
No, I have issues
with like you. This is your mind. Like you're not the creative mind. I mean, you are, but you're not the
like in what's the one? Lost in Space. In Lost in Space, they're in a flying saucer.
I know,
but this flusher's spinning.
But
they're looking straight out a window at one thing in front of them. But why aren't they spinning around?
Because we don't care. Because we, the people. Bingo. We, the people, not the genius. We don't care. We don't see it.
They come here in spinning flying saucers. Okay. They'll walk off dizzy.
I know.
Okay.
And again, you must be so much fun at parties, Neil. Like, you have to be the smartest guy in the room. And it's interesting to see because obviously Bill is the same way to a large extent. But we know that as long as we're in Neil's wheelhouse, Bill is at least smart enough to not, he's not going to try to challenge him on astrophysics. But where at some point, they're clearly going to move into, politics.
And Captain Kirk, when he kissed the green chick, I mean, of course we know that if they're green on another planet, they're probably not going to be hot also. The odds.
No, he didn't get mail on kissing the green woman. But he got mail kissing Uhura.
He kissed.
Matt Dillahunty calls the man he married his wife?
What?
He married a dude? Are you just saying that? Is that wait. Looks like a chick to me, bro. I don't know if you were joking or not. Okay. So I said they almost sound like they're flirting, but badly flirting. I just did look it up. That was a chick. That was a chick. Hold up. Okay, well, this is ex-wife. Is this the one we're talking about? Beth Presswood? I guess. Do we have anything here? Let's see. What do we got? David Solomon, nothing here. Okay. Where are you guys getting? Where can I? Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus!
It's not going to be applicable to you. This is for people who have to come out. People that must keep playing a role in order to be accepted by their family. And of course, people who just want to know about being a hardcore Southern Baptist and coming out to your family.
I just want to see what we're doing.
You don't need to admit constantly. So I grew up in Cleveland, Tennessee, which is not in the Bible Belt, not in the buckle of the Bible Belt. It's the little prong in the buckle of the Bible Belt. Churches there. An aunt went to, and of course, so let's see.
I don't believe you guys. I don't believe you guys. I don't believe you guys. I'm not getting a source. I'm not falling for it. I'm not falling for it. Pooncooter, welcome to the party. Said you didn't see the epic Dylan Hunty Andrew Wilson debate. That's his ex. She's a real lady. Andrew Wilson. I guess that's not that Andrew Wilson. All right, I'm over this. Somebody put a link in the Discord. Somebody put a link in the Discord. All right, where are we?
The green woman, but he got male kissing Uhura.
He kissed, but not like on the cheek.
Yeah, no, it was a lip kiss.
It was?
Yes, it was the first white-black interracial kiss on television.
Star Trek.
Star Trek.
Yep.
I guess I did, but
yeah. He got made. Oh, here's one from the South. You ready?
Yeah.
It's I totally object to this, this miscegenation there. But if I had to kiss a black woman, you'd be the one.
Who said that?
That was just some random guy.
Yeah.
Who's complaining about the interracial kiss.
Oh, yeah. I mean, trust me, there are still.
So it was a compliment mixed in with the insult.
There are still plenty of idiot men today who say things like that. Like, I'm not.
Wait, you give me a heads up on what debate? What are you talking about? What are we talking? Husband of the David blew you off. What are we talking about?
Really, usually attracted to a black girl, but you're different.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they think that's a compliment, or that it's going to get you. I mean, that kind of ignorance will take longer to eradicate.
Yeah.
But the other one I remember from that era was Petula Clark. Do you remember who?
So that is his ex-wife? This person is his ex-wife?
In order to better report diligently, cooperate for the common good.
Matt's ideology and that of secular humanism is totally meaningless. Flourishing by whose metric? From my perspective, for instance, attempting to lie to people who claim men can be women isn't human flourishing.
Okay, so based on that line, I'm going to assume you guys are fucking around. Anyway, what the fuck are we talking about here? I'm not even going to back it up. I don't know
who that was.
Yeah, sure, but what about her?
Nothing. I just want to know if you remember it. No. She kissed, or Harry Belafonte kissed her on the cheek.
Just on the cheek.
Like in a 1967, something like that.
Okay.
Special. And the affiliates in the South, like I think they dropped the network, like that. Like it was just like You know, and we're talking about a peck on the cheek,
Yeah.
and it was.
Yeah,
I mean,
real human beings.
The changes you must have seen in your life.
Yes, in my lifetime. Now that I'm a 65-year-old man. Yeah.
Can you describe that? I would love to, because I heard you on a podcast once talk about getting pulled over with a bunch of.
Okay, I was assuming there was a racial element here because I'm like, isn't Bill somewhere around there? He's got to be at least approaching 60, if not past 60.
I think you were talking about other African American.
Yeah, no, what it was I was at a conference where, in conferences, there's the banquet night, which is the night before the last day. And usually there's a bottle of wine, you grab it off the table, go to a common room or something. You just chill and chew the fat. And I'm there, and we're going around the circle, and somehow we got talking about police and police stops, right? So we went around the circle, and every person is sharing their story. We're all PhD physicists, okay?
Right.
And sharing stories about police stops. We just went around multiple times. And the only thing we have in common, other than being PhD physicists, is that we're all black.
How many?
Well, there were 8 of us in the circle.
8 of us in the room.
Just in that one circle. And the stories had a very similar tone to it. We were stopped.
When you know, you know. When you know, you know. I was like, wait a minute. If he's asking about how he grew up, that has to be a racial thing. Neil's a boomer. That explains a lot. Yep.
Stopped and not given a ticket. So the stop was on some suspicion that was not then fulfilled.
What year is this?
This is 1992, 93.
Okay. So now it's 2023.
So that's 30 years ago, I'm happy to say.
On a scale of how much that has changed.
Oh, it's an excellent question, Bill, because
it's what I'm always asking.
Bill,
where are we now?
Bill, people don't.
No. It is a great question. It's a fantastic question. But where Neil is in 2023 is very, 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 very different. The idea that, Neil deGrasse Tyson is going to be able to talk about the racial divide in 2023. Bro, you're like, this is like, how OJ was like, I'm not black, I'm famous. Like, come on, bro. Come on. Nope, not hard, so fair enough. These two booms is booming.
Don't want to admit how much better things are today.
I'm always making
than
this
at
point.
Any time in the past.
I'm trying to tell the kids this.
I
am always. I'm trying to.
And here's what you do. Here it is. You set up a time machine. Okay, a time machine. What?
Obviously, you guys know that. Like, I agree with the notion that race relations are way better now than they were in the 60s. That's not what I'm disagreeing with here. But the notion that Neil deGrasse Tyson, a famous person who, toes the line of the establishment, is going to be able to tell you what race relations are like in the last 15 years. He went to Harvard out of high school. So what are we talking about?
Watch. And then if you are...
Yeah, I completely agree. I said Neil should read Thomas Sowell or meet up with him before we lose that dear man. I completely agree. I think that would be epic. That would be probably one of the only people walking the earth who would be able to get Neil in a place where he doesn't think that he's smarter. I say maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, it's continuing to improve. But like the point is just that he's not your average black man. He's not your average man. He's not your average person. So getting his idea, because he's black, about what black people think is racist, Bill. Oh, because you have black skin, you must know what it's like for people who don't know as much as you, don't have as much money as you, don't have a platform like you, don't live the life that you do, don't have the live in the neighborhood that you do. What are we talking about? Shout out to Colette. Welcome to the party. So excuse me, but I'm a boomer and totally MAGA ultra. We got to remember, boomer is a mindset. When you're obviously the boomers, the the baby boomers is a generation. But we got to remember that now we use okay boomer as a mindset. It's a mindset. When you're showing how far disconnected from reality, that's being a boomer. Guantex said, so is Neil trying to get back at the system for what happened in 1992? Or is he just being paid and giving certain advantages for pushing the agenda? I'd say the second one. So the soul, yeah, agree. I would love to see that. Does he dye his hair? He definitely had gray hair at one point. The next time the next time they go to a one shot of him, we're gonna look, because I know he had grays around the edge. It's not clear enough that I can to see it. It looks like he does though. Yeah, exactly. Have Thomas Sowell as an actual mentor, not just, hey, that's a great guy who is a great guy, but I'm claiming him as no. Like, can I claim you as a mentor? You don't know who the fuck I am. You don't agree with a lot of things that I say. But I like that you can be arrogant when you need to be. Argument kind of fell apart there, but you know what I mean? Boomer said Neil is Freddy Duncan Krueger for Halloween every year. Oh my God. Good one. We got here. The grainy hair is just a Mandela effect. I don't know. There's certainly no evidence that he's not an android. Let's keep that in mind. And then we're looking for the grays. Oh yeah. Let's see. Yeah. No, he definitely dyes his hair.
A time machine. Watch.
Unquestioned.
And then if you are female on the gender spectrum,
here we go.
You put him in the time machine and say, pick a time in the past where you were treated better than you are today. And if you really think that through, I don't think there's a single time you can pick.
But the kids
at all.
See, the problem with
because it's what they know. So here's the problem.
Well, the problem is education. If you don't teach kids history, if they don't know what happened, they think everything is just the present.
With the present. Yep. And everything bad in the present is the worst that ever happened.
You know,
right.
I try to tell them, I don't even need history books to know something like this. I was alive.
You lived it.
I saw America like you did.
Yes.
But not like you did. That's why I'm asking you, because I can't know what you know.
Here's what I'm telling you. So for me, yeah, I'm choosing the future, because that arc looks better to me than any time in the past. But the reason why there's value to this exercise is in addition to complaining that things aren't what they should be progressively, if you look at the past and realize how much it has changed, what you can ask is, what did we do right to get to where we are today? Let's do more of that. And rather than only look at what's bad today and then try to eradicate that. There are lessons that we learned. And my father was among them.
Did that even say anything besides, like, let's look at the silver lining? Again, he absolutely has the skill of being able to turn something very basic or very complex into the opposite. But all he just says, we should be a little bit more positive. That's all he said.
He was active in the civil rights movement, worked under Mayor Lindsay in New York.
Really?
He was a commissioner.
That's what I'm saying, Colette. It's not about your age. It's about, are you connected? So we wouldn't say that you are a boomer if you are tapped in and you know exactly how badly we need Donald Trump in office. Let's go.
Right. Manpower career. You know what news article was not written in the 1960s about New York? New York had no major riots. The largest ghetto in the country, up in Harlem, had no skirmishes here. Nothing like Watts, nothing like Newark, nothing.
Right across the river.
And so no one writes articles about that.
But they would say how terrible and horrible and racist Stop, Question, Frisk was.
My father was there at the time. And what is a riot if not the last desperate act?
I don't think that, like, I think he feels this way about himself as well. I think he starts talking and then he just gets into it and he's like, we'll figure out where this goes later in the sentence.
When you know there is no other path of hope.
Right.
And so he was a commissioner of Manpower and Career Development Agency. That was an agency in New York where youth in the inner city would realize they might have a job, there's a career for them, there's opportunity in arm's reach. So it was never a powder keg. Yeah.
Our fathers may have crossed paths.
Oh.
Well, my father was in radio news.
Thank you, brother.
We lived in Jersey, but he commuted every day into Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
And maybe your father was...
He was interviewed every now and then.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, he died a few years ago. I checked my mother. My mother's still alive.
No, but this would be in the 60s, 70s.
Yeah, yes, of course.
That's
I
when
can't ask him. I'm saying, it would be
Right.
the 60s, early 70s, yes.
Isn't that funny?
So you've been in the business, your parents? Really?
The chemistry here is not what I thought it was going to be. This is like fucking pulling teeth.
I would hardly call that the business, but
Okay.
radio news, yes. That was what
It's a thing. That was an important thing back then. Yeah.
it was the era when every radio station had news at the top of the hour.
Yeah.
And you would have 5 minutes of news. And,
Mhm.
Even us kids listening to WABC, Cousin Brucey,
WABC,
we had to
Yeah.
sit through 5 minutes of news.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't ask kids.
Cousin Brucey. You didn't say it right.
Yeah. Oh, you remember WABC?
Yeah, of course.
Dan Ingram,
Dan Ingram. Stop. What do you think?
Ron Lundy.
I think this is the boomerest show we've ever done.
But I would listen to WBLS.
Yes.
The Total Experience in Sound. 107.5.
Wow.
In stereo.
You could have been a voice guy.
All right, here's what we're gonna do, because we are almost halfway through this and they have not talked about anything. So we're gonna skip around a little bit and see if we can find something, and then we're gonna take the show wherever we need to go.
Saying I have air conditioning crack, and so learn how to send my voice out from my chest.
I don't care about your voice work.
Chest, my throat.
Do you?
Yes, I do. Of course.
Who's
There's
that?
even the sound of rain.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Brooke Benton.
Oh no, rainy night on CNN.
They're still talking about his
voice doing the. This is CNN. Darth Vader.
Right.
Did that for years.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and then he stopped doing that. It's like, hell, I could do that.
We gotta say comment of the night, CT223. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is just it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch. I mean, this is a lesson. I had multiple people tell me that this was crazy. And so I just didn't look. I will never do this to you guys again.
Right.
This is CNN. I got that. So I laid a few tracks for them. I don't know what they'll do with it.
Talk about a place that's not too scientific, though.
So Bill, how come nothing makes you happy?
Nothing. What are you talking about?
You're the grumpiest. You know what I feel like right now?
Why do you find grumpy?
I feel like
he absolutely is grumpy. I think I've showed you guys before when he does clips of the show. Then he the little, like, we all have our little, like, thanks for watching, check out, like and subscribe and all that stuff. He's like, thanks for watching, hit the subscribe button, and then the video just ends. It's like, why are you so mad, bro? So I mean, he definitely comes off that way. CT said, like, how are they saying he should be a voice actor while he's a highly successful show of him voice acting? Yeah, I mean, exactly. We're gonna make something out of this, guys. Don't worry.
Now I'm gonna turn 65. I feel like we're on your porch in the rocking chair.
So do I, and I'm not about it.
Yes, but I've been so you don't in college campuses.
Okay,
Maybe
all right.
You dotted here and there, but you've abandoned college campuses.
This should be where we get into it.
In your stand-up.
Every comedian is.
Okay, so
literally everyone.
Let me ask you: if you came up today, would you just read the landscape and develop a whole other comedic repertoire that does not end up having people pick it outside your thing? Are you just transposed and you're not adjusting to the shifting terrain?
No. Again, this is, I mean, if this is a genuine question and not like a springboard as to, I know this isn't the case, but lay it out for me. It has nothing to do with the actual content of what people are saying, because the purpose, or not the purpose, the issue is that these kids were not even listening to the person. They didn't even know who it was. I remember specifically there was a Charlie Kirk talk, and somebody did one of these man on the street things when went to the protesters and went to one and you know, it was filmed and it was like, okay, so why don't you like Charlie Kirk? Like, oh, I think he's like a like right-wing Nazi or like whatever. And it's like, well, how much do you know about him? He's like, oh, I never heard of him. I just saw the thing. It's like you don't even know who this person is, and you're spending time out of your day to protest to make sure that not only can you not hear them, which you can already do by just not going, but you can't let anybody else listen to them either. That's what well-adjusted adults do. CD says he's going to scrutinize stand-up comedy now. I sure hope he does. I sure hope he does, so that we can get a little bit of something here. Because that's the problem when you get into this science stuff. He's smug and he's arrogant, but he knows his shit. So you can't really do anything. Like I'm not going to know more about the moon than Neil deGrasse Tyson. It doesn't matter if he's a dick or not. He knows more. Not going to college is adjusting. Exactly. Appeal to authority. Yep. I'm watching photos. So maybe he's going after Bill for occasionally pandering. Maybe. Let's see. CT said even the clean comics don't do college campuses because they have no sense of humor. Comedy and woke don't go together. Exactly.
And you're not adjusting to the shifting terrain. So why is it their fault and not your fault?
Well, you're being so broad about the whole thing.
Yeah, I am.
Well, but that doesn't work because that doesn't ever explain anything. If you want to talk about specific issues, it's funny, you know, this subject comes up a lot of times with like people who are, you know, my friends who are around my age, 40. No, and they have like kids who are like super woke and drive them fucking nuts.
I got woke kids. I will never be as woke as my kids would want me to be, ever.
Yeah, but you're a little too still. And, you know, woke does not automatically mean better. Newer does not automatically mean
that's
better.
true.
So that's why I say to talk broadly is bullshit. You have to like talk about what specific, you know, issue are we talking about? You know, the ones that get people's attention or gender issues.
Yeah, I know, but what
things like that? Well, okay, this is
so that's an invitation from Bill to say, "Hey, I'm willing to have this conversation. You just need to narrow the scope a little bit." Saying that, "Oh, well, you should change your comedy to be better for colleges instead of not going to colleges," is not a conversation. So if you would like to dive into the weeds of this, then we can pick a specific example. That's all he's saying. And you can see him shifting in his chair, not comfortable with the fact that he's even being questioned about that. Like it's just a mentality that you already have the answers. That to suggest that you just adjust is already an answer. So to get any pushback, no way. CT said, if there's one thing Bill will defend, it's stand-up comedy. That's his roots. Yep. Poon Cooter said, have you ever watched the entire original Cosmo series with Carl Sagan? It's dated, but a total masterpiece. I did not. I have seen all the ones that Neil deGrasse Tyson did. I have not seen the Carl Sagan one. Zibby says, so yeah, we're all having fun. We're all having fun, just playing around.
Very different.
You cut your teeth in the 70s.
What I'm saying is,
and you read the room.
Okay, but I'll answer
you. Read the politics.
I didn't read the politics.
Yes, you did.
How the fuck do you know what I did?
Because I know your jokes of the era. They were great.
Well, a lot of people think they're great now.
Okay, they're still great.
I don't know if you don't any.
No. What I meant was,
am I not woke enough for you?
Jokes.
No, Bill, you're not woke enough for him. You hit the nail on the head. You're woke as fuck, but you're not woke enough. Because that's how it works. You're never woke enough.
It would work on a college campus, okay? Surely there's a portfolio of jokes that would still work on a college campus.
Sure, but because of the money, because of the hassle, because of the protests, because it is not worth it. It's not worth it. So why force yourself into a situation when you have a show on HBO and you also can do stand-up comedy anywhere else What is this obsession with going to a place where people are saying, we don't want you here? That's what he's missing. Is that like the stand-up comments are just like, oh, fuck these college kids. I'm they're just stupid, and I just fuck them. No, it's like, you want to see me? I'm at this comedy show. I'm at that comedy show. Every single comedian's podcast starts with them giving dates of their tours. So it's just a fundamental misunderstanding of what is happening. He just doesn't see it. He doesn't see it. CT said Carl Sagan's small blue dot monologue is amazing. Yup. Starts at the Earth and slowly zooms out to the universe. I think that was the end of his Cosmos series. Yeah. And then they, obviously reused that in the Neil deGrasse Tyson one. As we said, I'm talking about Neil and the woke. Humorless people who need to find their straitjackets. Yep.
Surely.
I would hope not. From what maybe some college campuses, the ones you read about are fucking insane.
You've given up on an entire generation.
Yup.
You don't know how to make
I have
them laugh.
given up on any place that doesn't even remotely attempt to believe in free speech and thinks that anything that they hear that they don't like, that they don't agree with, is violence. These people are fucking nuts, and you should be calling them out.
Let's
Somebody
go.
like you, who has standing with kids, should be not
I do
joining them.
when there's a science
You're doing what
objectivity to it,
you're
yes.
doing what parents do. You're
What's that?
taking the path of least resistance.
Oh, the path of least resistance. That's exactly what he's doing. Well, I am, an adult human, so I understand the gender binary, or at least the sexual binary, or at least the sexual bimodality. But it's easier to just pretend this gender bender bullshit is, something that is going to help me. As he is accusing, projection, as he is accusing Bill of he wasn't doing it right now, but talking about I see your politics, you read the politics, and you do projection. Yeah, he's getting feisty. I knew we would get there. I knew we would get there.
And therefore hurting the kids and yourself. Parents ruin both their lives. They ruin their fucking spoiled kids' lives, and they ruin their own lives because the kids rule the roost. So that's what you're doing on a national level.
I'm feeling more like on the porch. Get off my lawn.
Really? I feel like we're in the...
That was pathetic. Any respect I had left for Neil deGrasse Tyson is gone. You guys just saw what I just saw, right? The weakness of this man. Look at what happens when he gets the tiniest bit. We all saw it. And look how he responds. This is sad.
And they ruin their own lives because the kids rule the roost. So that's what you're doing on a national level.
That's what you are doing on a national level. That is a claim. That is a personal, I don't want to say attack, but a personal thing that's being thrown on him. And what does he do?
I'm feeling more like on the porch. Get off my lawn.
Really?
I'm going to change the subject and make a joke about something stupid that we were talking about 20 minutes ago, because the path of least resistance is getting a little resistancy, if you know what I mean. Exactly. That's how you trust the science, the path of least resistance. That is right. Guys, can I just get 2 more likes, please? 2 likes. Thank you so much.
I feel like we're in the barbershop.
Well, that works too. In the inner city, it's the barbershop. We don't have porches in there's the stoop.
Exactly, Neil. So the entire idea that you are going to be able to talk about the difference between the racial the racial opinions of the country in 1990 versus 2023 is silly. Misanthropic Ultra says Neil helped to legitimize inquiry into simulation theory. Now this, for shame. I actually do believe in simulation theory, but that's a whole bucket of worms. Zippy said, I just do not understand the trans stuff. Men and women are very different things. It does not mean it should be simple enough to let people wear and act how they want and still keep genders in separate lanes. Yep. If it's such a social construct, then why do you need to chop up your body to be affirmed? That'll make sense.
there's the stoop. So here's my point.
Stoop kid never leaves the stoop.
That's my
I'm
piece.
trying to get through to people on my social media and the like, and I see what pisses people off, what they react to, and I say, all right,
I'm going to purposely avoid all of that so everybody likes me. I don't have to stand on any principles. I don't have to say anything controversial. I can just, kind of exist, making a real difference. That's what Carl Sagan would want, right? Your mentor.
these are the landmines. I'm going to navigate that. I'm going to navigate.
Okay, you're
So
He just said it. Here are the things that are going to make people upset, so I'm just going to navigate that. Oh, you don't want me to say that thing? Okay, I'll go over here. You don't want me to say that thing? Okay, I'll go over here. Beta little bitch. Be a fucking man. Stand on your principles.
I navigate it so that I can, because my father's greatest bit of wisdom to me, several nuggets. One of them was, it's not good enough to be right. You also have to be effective.
Projection. Sad. Yeah. And so we had our resident poll. Who's worse? 75% of you said Neil deGrasse Tyson, and we are already having a little bit of regret on that. 75%. Bill is, Bill has his issues. But at the end of the day, he is a good person to be in, this whole landscape. He plays a good role because he's lefty enough for the lefties to trust him. But he's, I hesitate to say down to earth enough, but down to earth enough to be able to call out the woke bullshit. Yep. It's, exactly. That's when Neil last had my respect, when he challenged the science community to look at data that was pointing to simulation theory. Whoa, he's got to navigate landmines, bro.
And if you reject the college campus, then you have no influence on them.
The college campus rejected comics and speakers, not the other way around.
They're not going to say, oh, we're not going to get Bill, maybe we should change. Then you have no influence on them.
Sweetheart, I can wait till they grow up a little. Okay, I can wait. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about with comedians.
You pull age rank on me?
Comedian. No, you don't know what I'm talking about. You know you know outer space.
Well, what I will tell you.
I know fucking doing comedy shows.
I'm a huge consumer of your trade.
Thank you.
Yes.
Well, I mean, thank you on behalf of all the comedians
I'm
in my
a huge consumer. I'm just letting you know that.
You mean of all comedians?
Yes, of all comedians.
Okay, yes. Well, on behalf of all of us,
and I have
you.
a fast Jay Leno joke. Not joke.
Again, moving the conversation to somewhere that's more comfortable for him. Navigating landmines.
Observation when you have a
please, let's not let the moment pass. I want to hear this.
Oh, you want to hear it now?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Leno?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so I watch Leno every night. His monologue. I didn't care about the guest. Watch the monologue every
Put a 1 in the chat if you think this is going to be a funny joke.
night.
He was
and he has the longest monologue of all the guys at night, okay?
Genius comedian.
Okay.
Yep.
And so I knew his timing. I knew his rhythms. I knew on the possibility that I would ever end up on his show, I would be in lockstep with him. Then the call came.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, he doesn't typically do scientists, so.
Hey, shout out to Trey Williams. Welcome to the party. Good to see ya, brother. Zippy said he's not wrong. If you do not win the fight, you lose the war. Only when you attack all the time, you lose the ability to affect stuff. Nope. No. Giving up on trying to do politics to college students on a college campus does not mean you lose the war. In fact, I would argue that we are very much winning the culture war right now because we stopped trying to have the conversation on their terms and we started having the conversation on our terms. Yep. Facts are poison to wokies. It's not about, reaching them. They don't want to be reached. This is like talking about, well, the Israelis should just talk to Hamas, and if you don't talk to them, then you have no influence at all. What? That's not how that works, bro. Looks like it's sad when Bill sounds basic because things went wrong. That's not necessarily true. I mean, Bill definitely has a lot of based opinions, but he's still just that TDS is raging. No one does scientists. What?
This was, I think, was unusual for him, and he's a literate guy, science literate guy, but it wasn't like Johnny Carson with scientists on all the time.
But that's a credit to you. You rose to the level of pop culture translator of science, which is a great place to be, and only a few people get to do that.
Well, thank you, but it's a lot of work to learn what the hell's going on out there in pop culture.
Fucking hell.
So here's what.
Thank you, Bill. It's a lot of work to know what's going on in culture. No, it's not. That's why it's called pop culture, because everybody knows about it. Astrophysics, sure.
What happened? So what show is it? It had Jimmy Fallon on it. Why? Because 2 weeks later, he's taken over so this is like the last week of Jay Leno's tenure.
Yeah, right.
And I'm on the show. Okay.
And Jimmy Fallon's on Epstein Island.
Okay.
Right.
But then I realized I know why I'm on the show, because that night was the night, that day, Obama was inaugurated. 2008, 2009, January 20th. So that evening, all of Hollywood is not available, but Neil is available. Okay, so I fly out to California. Okay, so now watch. And he had a great joke about the inauguration in a minute, but watch what happens. He says,
Notice how we are still not on the notion of abandoning college kids and having influence over them. We're just going to go down this road of telling every intimate detail of being on Jay Leno instead of anything relevant.
So Neil, what's the latest in the universe? I said, oh,
that's a terrible Leno impression.
sorry.
So Neil, what's the latest
So
in
what's
the universe?
And so I set him up for a joke. Okay, this is like dangling fruit. I said, on Mars, we just discovered that there's gaseous effluences coming from the ravine. Wait a minute. Wait. And so then I wait like 3/4 of a second to see if he picks that up.
Right.
If he doesn't, I keep going. And he didn't pick it up. So I said, and we analyzed the gases, and it's mostly methane. So there was a pause. No, he still didn't. He says, oh, he's like listening and learning rather than being active comedian.
Well, in his defense, I don't know what the joke is about methane either. Maybe this is something
It's farts. The joke is farts. Why are we talking about farts?
Physicists know methane.
Such as what you'd find in the lower intestines of farm animals.
Yeah, cow farts.
Still, he doesn't say that. Meanwhile, Jimmy Fallon says, I can see it now on Mars. The cow dad saying, pull my hoof. So Jimmy picked it up.
Wow.
And
that's good.
And so I was like, what am I going to do here?
Well, I don't know what the point of that story.
Let's try that again. So we're watching Jay Leno, okay? Everybody get in the mood. This is Jay Leno right here, and this is how it really went down.
Cow dad saying, pull my hoof. So Jimmy picked it up.
You are corny as fuck, bro. We have one of the biggest names in liberal politics. We have one of the smartest people in the world sitting around derailing a conversation about influencing youth to talk about cow farts on Mars. I'm genuinely thinking of just ending the show here. Never again will I start a show on something that I haven't at least skipped through. I'm so frustrated right now. Talking about cow farts on Mars.
Wow.
And
that's good.
That's good.
And so I was like, what am I going to do here?
Well, I don't know what the point of that story is.
Well,
but,
no. I was saying,
I'll tell you.
followed-
The point of the story was to get away from talking about how you, Bill, were very, 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 very right about what we were talking about, and I was very, 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 very wrong. So I brought up Jay Leno, and now we've just moved on. Gromtek said, this is a scientist's idea of a joke. Stick to science, Neil. Yep. So Soul said, I don't want to live on this planet anymore. Professor Farnsworth. It is elaborate. I mean, I'll give him that, I guess. Respect where respect is due. It was complex and elaborate. Funny.
the comedic thing. So the next day, do you remember Aretha Franklin sang at the inauguration? And she had this big hat.
Vaguely.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, but it was a huge hat. So the next day, he says, last night, in his monologue, last night I had astrophysical Neil deGrasse. Okay, I won't imitate it. Fine. Last night I had Neil deGrasse Tyson on, and he told me there's only two things visible from space: the Great Wall of China and Aretha Franklin's hat. That was just good. So I made it.
I like her hat because it was so big, right? Like you can see the hat from space because he does space and the hat was big, so you can see it from space. You get it? Oh my God.
Into 2 nights there. That's all.
Well, oh, really?
And I have a keepsake from that day. My cup, which is from the Today Show. I mean, from the Tonight Show.
I don't care.
I was on the Tonight Show that week too, his last week.
Seriously?
Yeah, YouTube it. And we sang Thanks for the Membership and sang
Very
it.
With Wind Beneath My...
Tried to get hurt. It's really funny.
And so he wanted me on there to comment on aerodynamics of jet engines.
So,
All right.
So obviously I respect what you guys do deeply.
I know.
Just want you to
I
know.
appreciate that.
Doesn't sound like it. Well, you have no influence at all.
Okay.
Look,
And so I'm wondering, how do you navigate? You know, I have on, the Sirius XM, you got comedy from the 90s, 2000s, 2010s. They decade them.
yeah.
And I listen to comedy from the 2000s,
But
half the jokes you can't tell today.
just exactly. And just to put this in perspective,
Which is why the comics stopped going to colleges. All of that.
we did a piece on this, and this is going back 7 or 8 years. This has been going on. It's only gotten worse.
Mhm.
But Chris Rock, Jerry Seinfeld, and Larry the Cable Guy, all at the same period of time, announced they are not doing colleges anymore. And we
Chris
did
Rock too.
we did jokes like a Jew, a black guy, and a redneck
yeah.
walk into a college,
Okay.
and they all go, "Fuck you! I'm getting out of here."
Right. So
Yeah, and that's a good point. CT says you can still tell them, and good comics still tell them. He just thinks you can't say them. I mean, we get what can't, meaning you'll get there'll be much larger repercussions than there was 7-8 years ago. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't get it. Oh God, Bill still has a camera on the creeper angle. Yep. Yep. Miss Anthropogulture said, Neil is more from a science communicator to a status quo priest. Dilly, chew that. A status quo priest, whatever he can do to make sure that whatever is the thing continues to be the thing. That is Neil. Good one. So you said, I'm thinking Neil cannot connect the dots. You cannot win over a cultist. Disagree. There is a reason he brought up that Jay Leno thing that they've been talking about all this time, because Bill had him on the ropes. They were talking about comedy. They were talking about wokeness, and Neil didn't like it, so he got up out of there. My favorite stand-up. Ooh, that's tough. I really, really, really like Demetri Martin. I think he has a very unique style. I like Bill Burr, obviously the huge guys. Tom Segura is a good one. I don't know. It's hard to pick a favorite. I mean, Carlin obviously has to be up there. I don't know if I could give one favorite, but those are some of the ones that I like. Colette says Neil has to deflect the truth or he wouldn't be a wokey lefty. Yep, you got it. We said also, it does not matter what kind of joke you make. Someone will go extreme hate on it. Yep.
It
now
won't work anymore.
If Jerry Seinfeld's act,
Oh
which
yeah,
can
I love Gills.
whiten teeth, it's so
yeah,
clean.
he's a pretty clean humorist.
Brilliant.
Yes.
But like, if you're upset at Jerry Seinfeld's act, I'm sorry. The problem is you and how you were raised. Spoiler alert, wrong. You were raised wrong.
Okay, so here's what you do. Now you replace the name Jerry Seinfeld with any other stand-up comedian.
That's the key to everything, is the kids were raised wrong. And it doesn't make me the bad guy because I noticed this. I don't know why you want to join this.
I want to navigate it so I can still be effective.
But you're not effective. That's the whole fucking point. You think you're effective because you're repeating things that people like to hear. But that's not what science is, Neil. That's antithetical to what science is. That is specifically religion. That is specifically dogma. So you have failed, sir. And being effective. What have you affected in the last 5 years? Except your fucking legacy. Affected it down the goddamn toilet. So the Soul said, I think Neil is just a grifter for popularity and easy access to media and money on the left. In some way, I find it hard to believe he believes what he says politically. Yeah, exactly. Then he says you can get things through a college woke cultist. I was thinking they have to fail hard before they wake up and return to reality. Some of them definitely do. Some of them will wake up out of it. I don't know how many. I've been, ever since 2017 when I started seeing all this stuff. I was like, oh, these woke kids, wait till they get to the real world. And then they took over the real world. I'm like, all right, fine. That's, millennials are millennials. And now Gen Z is worse. So let's go Generation Alpha. I mean, I think, honestly, at this point, I feel more like it's going to be Generation Alpha's kids that's going to get this country back on track. That's how far away we are from any kind of society that we could be proud of. Shame.
Yeah, me too.
But no, you've given up. You're on the rocking chair.
No, I have not given up.
Get off my lawn.
But you have a no. That's stupid.
That's real.
Stupid. It's so fucking. It's demeaning and insulting.
No,
quite frankly, because it's reducing what I do, which is really subtle.
Yeah,
and a lot of smart people like it. That's what they would say on Fox News. He's just old. Get off my lawn. It's a prejudice. It's not accurate. It's not cool.
You're not allowing my.
So let's go for Bill. In the name of Neil deGrasse Tyson, projection. Projection tastes so good.
Free speech.
I'm allowing it. I'm just calling you out on your bullshit. Calling you out on your bullshit.
Yep.
Just because it doesn't agree with you doesn't make it bullshit. It could be just a different point of view.
Okay, but you can just because it is true that merely disagreeing with you doesn't make someone full of shit. Also doesn't mean that anybody who disagrees with you cannot be full of shit. They are mutually exclusive. You could be full of shit and agree with somebody, or you could be full of shit and not agree with somebody, or you could agree with somebody and be on point, or you could disagree with somebody and be on point. That's how we figure that shit out. You're just assigning anything that Bill doesn't like, he must think is bad. Instead of maybe I'm saying something that is bad. There's difference. Shout out to Crucified for my opinions. Check out that name. Welcome to the party. Can someone just pew Bill asking for a friend? Well, I mean, I'd go after Neil first, but we don't like violence here. But welcome to the party.
I'm just saying.
Get off my lawn is not a point of view.
But it's a fun reference. Come on, it's a fun reference.
but it's pretending. It's not accurate and it's not honest because it's pretending that all I am is a primal scream against the future coming. I'm not a primal scream. I love the future when it's good.
Do you want to influence that generation?
If you want to bring back,
and now he's back on this. if we had stuck with that, that would have been a lot more interesting to have the conversation instead of telling your story for 20 minutes about cow farts on Mars. But all right, he wants to get back into it. So I'm just kidding. It's not polite to shoot people. That is correct. That is correct. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We also got Opus in the building. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Crucified said, Bill sometimes sounds based and then says incredibly cringe shit. Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to see where we're landing in this conversation because at the same time, Neil's being completely obtuse. He's being completely obtuse. He's being completely smug. He's projecting bullshit, all this stuff. But then we see Bill, who's his normal, natural self, which is usually insufferable, dare I say. But because he's talking to Neil, he's the one who's based in the conversation. This is like when Kanye, oh, we're losing our co-host. This is like when Kanye went on Alex Jones. It's like, bro, if you make an Alex Jones look like the normal one, you fucked up. You fucked up. You said lack of support for free speech to keep your emotions from punching the guy next to you is kind of bullshit. You have to control yourself. Yep.
Navigate it.
If you want to bring back communism, which like a third of them do, no, I'm not going to go, oh, that's new. Isn't it great? You know, I could say, hey, let's shit in the kitchen and eat in the bathroom. It's new. But is it smarter?
Who put a 1 in the chat if you think that Neil deGrasse Tyson is actually going to respond to that point? That, well, it's new, and that's bad. I think he's going to brush right by it. Miss Anthropogos just said, Gen X is barely getting into political power. So be nice, you oldies and youngins. Well, yeah, that's on you. Didn't nobody tell you not to run? Didn't nobody tell you to leave the boomers in office for 40 years? What are you doing here? Go run. Oba said, Neil deGrasse Tyson is evil. He is smart enough to know better, which means he's willingly deceiving people, and he's in a position of trust. He is the worst. That's what somebody else was saying too, is that he knows, that he should know better. And I think I'm going to slightly disagree with you because I think he genuinely believes this idea of, navigating. I know where the landmines are, and I'm just going to navigate them. They're landmines because they are the things that people care about. So if you're saying, I want to have an effect, but I'm going to navigate around all of the things that people care about, then you can't be effective. So I don't think he is, I don't think he knows better. I think he is self-serving. And in that perspective, he's doing exactly what he's looking out to do. So it's not about willingly deceiving people. It's about willingly deceiving himself. He's willingly deceiving himself that he knows how to navigate politics when he doesn't. He sees, he can identify the issues that people care about. But to him, those are the things to avoid. That is not going to get you anywhere except in a dark corner talking about something that nobody cares about. And if you do have the skill to be able to break down theoretical astrophysics to children, then how dare you waste that skill for your own self-interest to make everybody like me? How dare you?
How dare you?
Colette said, woke lefties think anyone who doesn't agree with them is full of shit. Yep. Crucified said, yeah, on InfoWars was pretty kino. I don't know what kino means. I am 34. What does that mean? Sorry, get off my lawn. What is Keno? I mean, I know what the game Keno is. Okay, so yeah, put a 1 on the. I said put a 1 on the chat if you think he's actually going to answer, or 2 if he's going to deflect. We got 2 twos.
No, this is what I always tell my friends when they're like, I can't talk to my kids because whatever I think, they go, that's old thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but is it better thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Is it better thinking? I know you think that like you had a thing with Martina Navratilova.
What do you mean I have nothing? What do you mean?
A beef. Yeah, well, she has beef with you.
Why did she have a beef with me?
Because you think like guys with
okay. So yeah, you gotta help me stay relevant with the Zoomers. Kino means cinematic. All right. So indeed, it would be Kino. Colette disagree or thinks he's going to deflect as well. Let's see.
dicks should get in the women's swimming pool, basically.
Well, whatever got clipped and reposted, I don't know. But what I said was that
we should have everything based on hormones because nothing else matters than hormones. In wrestling, there's weight classes. So why is this an issue? We've already figured this out. No, Neil, we haven't. That's what you get when you navigate the landmines.
In this emergent space where you have people expressing themselves.
Shout out to Crucified for my opinions for teaching us all a new word, keeping us young and fresh, right? Whether or not he was going to answer the question
On a gender spectrum, and you want to now compete in sports, that's still a frontier to be solved. And I don't have the answer, but I can suggest one, whether or not it'll work.
It won't.
Maybe we don't compete by gender anymore. We compete on hormone ratios. Okay? There was a woman who had uncommonly high testosterone levels, and they wanted to disqualify her because of how manly she was when she was born a woman and competing as a woman. So that's how we're going to do it.
This again. This
is what you really want, right, Bill? No,
I thought
Bill,
this
here we
more
go. Than you might think I have.
Oh.
So
you've thought about it a lot. Have you talked to anybody? No, because you're navigating landmines. So you think you have this well thought out idea. Oh, it's hormones. It's hormones. It's hormones. It's hormones. It's hormones. What about fast twitch muscle fibers? What about bone density? What about center of gravity? These things matter, Neil. But because you don't talk to anybody, except the people who already hear what you want to say, then you don't know about this. Now, I'm scared as to whether Bill is going to be able to talk about bone density, muscle fiber, all that kind of stuff. I don't know. Let's see.
What you really want is an interesting contest between people who are similarly talented. The least interesting Super Bowl you could ever watch is a blowout by halftime.
See, what we agree on is that.
Disagree. If I saw the Jets in the Super Bowl, I'm not even a football fan anymore, and they were blowing shit out by halftime, I would be beside myself. So let's add sports to the list of shit that, despite the fact that Neil has a much longer athletic career than I do, he has no fucking idea. And again, that's what it is. Because he was a wrestler, just like because he's an astrophysicist, he thinks, and he knows a lot about astrophysics, that he knows about everything else. He knows about wrestling, so he thinks he knows about all sports. Figured it out.
There are anomalies in human nature, whereas
yes.
The vast majority of people, I'm sorry, are still male or female.
Yep.
And certainly every cell in our body is dictating one of those other sexes. I mean, obviously,
the hormones are. Yeah.
Obviously, also I make sperm and other people make eggs.
That's what hormones do. Yeah.
You can't deny that. Okay. So but we, as liberals, I think, agree that, there are anomalies in nature and they should be respected and protected. But this attempt to reorganize all of society around what a very tiny percentage, who, again, we can protect and respect without pretending that every baby is a jump ball like penis.
Bingo. Every baby is a jump ball. Penis. Baby. But exactly. Thank you, Bill, for having some semblance of rationality. To not pretend like 5 years ago, this isn't what everybody thought. But it's new.
Protect and respect without pretending that every baby is a jump ball like penis. What the fuck? I don't know. That doesn't mean anything. We have no idea what this child is. I mean, that seems to be where you want to go. I mean, like, how many people fit this description that we should reorganize sports around? We have men's sports and women's sports. And if the best team in the WNBA played the worst team in the NBA, the score would be 1,000,000 to 0. Can we
Yep, yeah. So CT says you'll hear about the $1 million bet with a WNBA star and a high school boys soccer team or high school boys team versus a WNBA team. They haven't agreed to the bet. I think that was Dave Barstool Dave. What's his name? Dave whatever. Was it him or was it somebody else? But either way, $1 million for professional athletes to play high school children. $1 million. The most money that the WNBA will ever see for a single game. But they haven't agreed to it. I wonder why. Maybe they're just getting the logistics worked out, backstage, behind the scenes kind of stuff. I'm sure that's coming up.
organize society around that basic point with this, of course, proviso that we protect and respect people who do not fit into it?
Yeah, exactly. We don't have to be aggressive to these people. We don't have to have a society that's aggressive to these people, like they were towards us when we wouldn't take their bullshit jab. But completely upending the social norms and the culture that has brought us to be the best country in the world, because sometimes men wear dresses, is silly. It is just silly. There is no two ways about that. It's crazy. Quantex said Neil's just going to say that point doesn't prove his point on hormones. Yep.
Let's segregate society between
That's not
dark-skinned people and light.
segregating.
It is segregating, but that's totally fine. We segregate women away from the men so that they don't have to deal with the male athletes crushing their shit. We segregate men and women when we go into bathrooms. That's okay. That's appropriate. You're using buzzwords. Oh, well, it's segregation. You're for segregation. That's like when Emma Vigilant was on the Culture War. And she's like, so are you for parents' rights or not? Parents' rights to do what? Segregating what? For what reason? Segregating adult men from children who are in school? Yes, I'm in favor of segregating society in that way. This is the I don't know, is this semantic obfuscation or is this linguistic creep? I would call this semantic obfuscation. He's purposely using segregation because of the emotional weight of that word. Pathetic. Pathetic. Wonderful said they need to lower the hoops in the WNBA to about where a third of the girls can dunk. Dunks make up a big part of the action in basketball. Yep. Let's say woke lefties are clueless, but don't know it. That's their number one thing. That's their number one thing. Yeah, if they're so good, then prove it. Exactly. Don't get me started on equity. So it says that it's telling how Neil wants science facts to be the majority and unfalsifiable. However, he blatantly gives gender science a pass and is willing to use outliers as truths and facts. Good catch. Good catch. Also, the fact that they aren't even acknowledging that there's a large dishonest part to this crap and a dangerous social contagion element. Yeah, it's not being intellectually honest. It's looking to win points. It's looking, oh, I'm on the liberal show and I'm going to be more liberal than the liberal and I win. That's how this is working. Guys, can I just get 2 more likes? 2 more likes. That's all I'm asking. Thank you. So linguistic creep. Let's back up to when Peter Boghossian was on the channel. And so you guys know, if you're here all the time, that I talk about the main 2 things that I think are the issue with this political discourse in this country. One being dogmatic thinking, whether you believe that there's a man in the sky or you believe that a man can transform into a female. Either way, those are, if you hold those beliefs and are not willing to question them, that is dogmatic thinking. That ends the conversation, all that stuff. That is the dogmatic thinking part. So then when I was talking to Peter Boghossian about the other thing being semantic obfuscation, where you're changing around the meaning of words to be able to use them in a way like this, then he's like, well, you got to be careful, because obfuscation is implies intent. So when we see young Zoomers talking about this is a dog whistle, they're a Nazi, there's using these types of words in a way that is not meant to be used. They are not obfuscating the language. The language has been obfuscated to them, and now they have an understanding of the words in a different way. And so that different understanding is the linguistic creep. So we have the two layers of, how we always like to push or separate the people who are pushing the ideology and the people who are soaking it up. The people pushing the ideology are engaging in semantic obfuscation, and the people who are soaking up the bullshit are experiencing linguistic creep. Thank you for the likes, guys. Very, very, very much appreciated. Oba said, I think, and he has a son who's playing around with gender theory. Now it makes sense. I'm so mad right now. This, I used to have so much respect for this man. I used to have so much respect for him. And now, so it was a political movement in history that liked to change the definitions of words. Any guesses? Marxism? Communism? Maybe?
In people,
It's
because
not-
that nature made it that way, and that's how it is. So
Well, nature
so
did
you-
make it that way.
You are,
And it's not segregating.
well, there was a
Seg-
time.
No, again, Bill's getting caught in the trap. It absolutely is segregating. We are segregating biological males away from biological females, and that's okay.
Segregating anything.
That attitude
It's-
150 years ago
Oh, it's not-
was
2 years ago. You act like this was yes, right. Lincoln. This was a big issue in the Lincoln-Douglas debates.
Hey, shout out to Kelly Green in the building. Welcome to the party, said Neil. It's so weird because I don't trust his arrogant ass anymore. Nor should you. He will say whatever is most expedient to him. Welcome to the party. Centropic said, raising a transformer can happen to the best of us. Oof. Fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. CT said, watching his first Rogan episode from 5 years ago versus Rogan episode from a year ago is like two different people. Yep. Bill Nye is just as insufferable, possibly even worse. Yeah, I would say possibly even worse in the sense that he's not even as smart in his own lane as Neil. At least Neil does know about the astrophysics stuff. Thank you for the likes, guys. Very much appreciated. Guamtech said, thanks for that. Yeah. That's why I'm dying for you guys to when you're on other channels, when you're in other chats, to drop my name and let people know that, hey, you should have the Indian Jesus on your channel. You should do that, because I need people who are smarter than me, people who understand this stuff better than me, to poke holes in my whole American identity ideology thing, so that it works. If it's full of holes and I don't see them, then we're just going to be a bunch of people just sitting around talking bullshit in an echo chamber like everybody else in the world. But if we actually test this, if we actually get real people here, or me going in front of real people to talk about this stuff, then we can start adding things like linguistic creep to our ammo belt. That's a necessary factor of this whole movement growing. I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. All I ask is that you guys do your part. You show up, and when you are anywhere else, drop the Indian Jesus. That's the only way we're going to grow. And it is very, very, very much appreciated. So the Soul said, the death of our childhood heroes is always maddening when we become adults and see their faults clearly. Yep, they say, don't meet your heroes. He said, socialism is the root of Marxism and communism. Without deferring more and more power to the state, they cannot function. Yep. I don't know. We'll definitely have to find out. Well, you guys are my disciples. Well, the members are disciples. I don't know. It's a little weird. I don't like that. I mean, like, the disciples, because I'm Jesus and it's members. So you guys are disciples in that sense. But I don't know about having a whole, just because you watched one video, now you're. It's weird. That kind of feels icky. If you guys want to call yourself, you can call yourself what the hell you want to call yourselves, but I am certainly not referring to you guys as anything. Punkers, I'm trying to set you with Rob Noer. He's crazy smart and one of the best conservative debaters online. You'll get along great, and he can hook you into the debate pipeline. Let's go. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Need tinfoil hat emoji. And just put TFH. Now we'll know. Now we'll know. That's an inside joke. TFH.
Act like this was yes, right. Lincoln. This was a big issue in the Lincoln-Douglas debates. Trans people. That's
No,
right.
no, I'm talking about
I
black,
remember
white.
that from
I'm talking about black,
1861. Yes, I remember those debates.
It was 1860.
and
I think,
Lincoln
but yeah.
was all about getting trans. Oh, for fuck.
Did anybody hear him have to correct the date? You're already being called out for being snooty, I guess. Like.
No, I'm talking about
I
black,
remember
white.
that from
I'm talking about black,
1861. Yes, I remember those debates.
It was 1860.
and
Oh, it was actually 1860. Smugness drink. Dilly dilly.
Lincoln was all about getting trans. Oh, for fuck's sake. You're ridiculous.
No. So here it is. Just all I'm saying is
that nothing.
How about this? I'm looking at schools in Manhattan, and there's a school there, and there's a old.
Guys, don't forget, we do not have a stream sponsor. The smallest amount will make you the new sponsor of the stream.
From like built in the 20s and 30s, and there's a doorway that says boys, and a separate doorway on the other side of school that says girls. And I'm thinking,
God!
What? That didn't really happen, right? Holy shit! Is he serious about that? Oh my God. I gotta hear that again. I that can't possibly be.
That says boys, and a separate doorway on the other side of school that says girls. And I'm thinking,
God!
Oh, hell no.
That's segregation. And we're all about it.
God.
why are we doing this?
Because people are mostly boys and girls?
But why split them entering a school building?
Because they pee differently? Jesus Christ! I have
It's
to
just
I have to-
Like this is where you get into like pretending that you can't even fathom why. Come on, bro. Come on. You can't even fathom. So all your years as a young man going through and you just say, oh, boys, girls, men, and women. I'm just not going to say anything, but this is so crazy to me that they're still segregating society. I mean, the place itself is not segregated, just the bathrooms. But this is so horrible. So if it was so bad, Neil, then why the fuck weren't you out with fucking picket lines and protesting that this is horrible? In 2020, in 2015, there's segregation in America and we need it to stop right now. Because you're full of shit. You are full of shit. Shout out to Unwanted Foe, the tin foil hat. You know what? I forgot about the gifted memberships, guys. I apologize so badly. I'm gonna put you both up there, but oh man, I'm sorry. That was Unwanted Foe, right? I apologize, man. I forgot you're already the sponsor of the stream, brother. Should have let me know. I apologize. You are the man. Thank you so much. Very much appreciated. I'm gonna change it right now and make sure we don't miss anything.
No, because you know what I thought when I saw that? It's colored fountain over here, white fountain over here. That's what I thought when I saw that.
Well, that's not the same thing.
Well, it's not exactly the same thing, but that's what I thought. It's not exactly, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
But this is what I always say about these kind of issues. Like, there's two ways that you can be benighted about something. One, you can be too far from it.
Yeah.
Like, I would be too far from certain issues.
Sorry about that, brother. Thank you again. Being gracious. I know that, I'm dumb sometimes, but I appreciate you so much. Thank you very much. And big shout out to Zippy the Strain for the gifted membership here. And a treat for Morty like every single donation. There you go. Shout out to Gaming Wiz being a membership. If you got gifted a membership, make sure you join the Discord and get your full access.
Racial issues, of course. How could I ever know?
Right.
You can also be lost sort of thinking-wise as I am because I'm too far from it if you're too close to it.
Yes.
That
You
can
missed the elephant.
Well, you missed the elephant. It's the
Yeah.
fly on the Mona Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Why the fly wants to be on the Mona Lisa, I don't know, and I can't even appreciate art, but okay, you get my point. And so, like, I think when you see that, I totally understand why a man of your age does, but I don't think it's accurate.
So I used to wrestle, high school and college.
Here we go. I used to wrestle. Okay. And in wrestling, they have this thing called weight classes. So trans is not an issue. Thanks for coming, guys. I'm done. Bye. This is his argument. Shout out to Indie Film. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party. Check your fucking email. What is good? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So,
I would appreciate art, but okay, you get my point. And so, like, I think when you see that, I totally understand why a man of your age does, but I don't think it's accurate.
So I used to wrestle, high school and college. Okay. It's relevant to this.
And Bill's laughing because it's like, I've just made a pretty significant statement, and you clearly were just waiting to say that as soon as I finished.
Conversation, believe it or not. So,
believe it or not,
I was captain of my high school team, undefeated. Although,
wow,
but it was in New York. The real wrestlers are in like Iowa, you know, and Oklahoma.
Oh, I'm sure there's some wrestlers.
There's some, but if you really balance
New
it out,
York
it's
has
not.
no tough guys.
We got tough
shout out to Chris Weidman.
guys, but they'll shoot you or punch you in the face. They're not wrestling with wrestling moves. But anyhow, what you want is a match that's interesting to observe, not where one person dominates the other. In wrestling, they know this. There are 10 weight categories. In high school, I was 190 pounds.
And which weight category do they do? Men versus women? Oh, they don't do that. Gotcha. Okay.
That was 50 pounds ago or more. I was 190 pounds. Very good incentive to stay there because if I were 1 pound over it, the next category was unlimited. So I was there at 190 pounds. I'm not wrestling someone 127. No, they find somebody else at 127 to wrestle 127. That makes the match more interesting for the viewer. So if we can split wrestling into 10 categories and that becomes the wrestling match.
But all men against each other.
Correct.
Exactly. So you would then not only, so wrestling would then turn into 10 categories per gender. So now you have 20 different belts, 20 different champions in one organization. You know anything about following sports, being interested in sports, being interested in athletes? They have to be special. If there's 20 people, I mean, do I even need to explain this to you guys? I feel like, you know, you guys get it. Exactly. Doesn't he understand the science of why they split wrestling by weight? There's a lot of strength differences between light and heavier weights. Well, that's the point that he's making, that he thinks he's making, is that you could do the same thing with sports with gender, and you just measure hormone levels. But again, he's forgetting about all the other things that come with male puberty. Booger said it could only ever be 190 pounds if I had a 50 pound hat on. I need a heavier hat than that. Oba said, I say fine, do it. Split all these sports into 1,000 categories. It would be a disaster. Yeah, that would be way more entertaining, right? Way more entertaining. Come to pop-up membership. Let's heal the bigotry against the trans blacks. What? All right.
Correct. So, so now I get that.
The join button is right. If you just go right, it should be right about there. The join button.
Key point.
Okay. Okay. So all I'm saying is, what is it that makes the man the man? Is it the hormones? Okay. Is it?
No. Whoa. You're just gonna be? Is it the hormones? Okay, it's the hormones. So we just do it by hormones. End of story. I'm so smart. Nobody's ever thought about this before.
Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly.
Oh, I did not cut that.
If it's the hormones and you decide to give yourself a different cocktail of hormones, I'm making this up, by
Why
the
would
way.
you-
I'm not saying it should happen this way. It's a way to start thinking
Okay,
about it.
it would be-
maybe the
But it's not a way to start thinking about it because it leaves out some of the most relevant aspects of the conversation. You think it's a good way to start thinking about it because you haven't started talking about it. Yeah. I mean, completely irrelevant to Neil. And so again, you have to question: does he know? And I still think he's just that stupid, and so, or that ignorant rather. He's certainly not stupid. I just think he's that ignorant. But oh my god. I said, not to mention the negative effects of messing with your hormones. These people are mad scientists, literally.
track meets have hormone categories.
And maybe giving yourself the wrong hormones is deleterious to your health. Would you not admit that? Do you think we can just safely do things like this?
So you feel this way because you're so deeply concerned about the health of the people?
Yes, Neil. Welcome to the conversation. What the fuck do you think? What other purpose is there? Just to be transphobic for the sake of being transphobic? That's what you think that half of the country is doing? Just, we don't care, but we're making a big fuss because we don't have anything else to do, and we're just super we're super bigoted. We're super transphobic. What did you think? We actually care about people?
Loser!
What a moron.
Things like this?
So you feel this way because you're so deeply concerned about the health of the people who are trying to find their place on the gender spectrum? You care about their health so much that you don't want them to go through that?
Yes, Neil. Yes. Why are you asking that as if it's so crazy and out of the box for people to care about the health of other people? You cannot, unless you're already convinced that it's a bigotry thing, you cannot look at that and be like, you don't want people to die. Come on, bro. You don't care. Oh, he's projecting.
Dilly dilly. Dilly dilly.
Projection. Crazy. MS Anthropic Ultra says men are testosterone factories that can accommodate some estrogen. Women are estrogen factories that can accommodate testosterone. Why? You want to fuck up the factories? Because there's a landmine to tell the truth, and he's got to navigate the landmines. Weren't you listening? Nick says, look at UFC. Guys of the size of me are often the most all-around athletic and have stamina for days. But nobody thinks they should be in the octagon with a heavyweight. Exactly. Yep.
It's not something that keeps me up at night, but when the subject comes up, I care about them like I care about all people.
Bingo.
So if there is something...
You do, by the way. You think about all people.
Of course.
Yeah.
Why is that coming into question?
Is that a...
I'll give you that.
Oh, okay. You're being
You think about all
sincere?
people. No, I'm being
Yeah, I
sincere.
do. Yes. Yeah. Old school liberal.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want all people to have, make this very challenging world that we live in better.
And this is why when I talk about being a 2015 liberal, like this was just what the liberal platform was, is that like people should be able to live their lives. People should be able to be happy and healthy and safe in America. That's it. And look what it's turned into.
So that's why there's honest debate about this issue. And
well, I mean, honest, not so much with Neil, but there definitely is debate.
Why don't we cut it
Keep
off?
debate honest. Yeah.
Why don't we cut
Oh,
it?
no. Please tell me he's not going to just fucking cut and run this conversation.
Off now, because we're not going to solve this. We said our pieces. We get it. I want to plug your book because I know you.
Then what are we here for, bro? What are we here for? I mean, if anybody wants to come up, I'm not watching the rest of this. If that's how they're gonna go, I just dropped the link. If anyone wants to kind of come up and chat, let's do that. Otherwise, let's head to the after party because this is ridiculous. This is the dumbest fucking thing. What are we doing? You're going to have a very intelligent scientist on your channel as a political pundit to talk about politics and or science. And you're just going to be like, nah. Oh, word? All right. Shout out to Kelly Green.
You have to run to your film. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, I got a thing coming.
Yeah,
We're
but
talking about
don't
him.
leave me before I have my full time with you. But
Gay?
2 stones are,
Oh,
but which I
make
think
a beautiful.
a lot of. One with the ring, really? I just. Okay.
And your
Next
producer, which has been around for like 14 years.
podcast is one of.
And humor.
Well,
Call from the guy. He wants
was
me to do
gonna-
something in the.
You're the
with
natural.
the animated exterior of the sphere.
But couldn't you use that sphere to do like the greatest TED talk ever?
Yeah, probably.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Modest.
Or probably. There are talks that befitting that space. The guy was in there. He runs the Madison Square Garden.
We should do a public talk together. I bet you we could sell a lot of tickets.
Oh man.
Oh, I thought you were saying like, oh, don't worry, I seen this. He's not going to cut and run. So nobody wants to come up. All right. Well, let's just. I mean, I guess we'll just see what else we got here.
You like money, right?
Knock out that theater.
Money, theaters,
And it's I don't know, taken
Vegas,
over. Like that's
The
AI.
remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still. DC is
right. And as long as we're by the aliens, but I don't know for anything for sure. Nobody does. It just feels like more and more
aliens.
it's getting harder to make the other case that there are not people who are watching us. And again, I don't know if there's anything unscientific about the idea that there would be other life in the universe. I don't know if you watched the Hard Knocks.
Shout out to JL in the building. Welcome to the party. Said, I never thought of Neil as arrogant. Sure, he thinks he knows everything. That's kind of what arrogant means, though, isn't it? Like, unless you do know everything. If you don't know everything and you think you know everything, I would call that arrogance. Fair enough. Fuck you.
Show on HBO where they go to the training camp of the football teams. But Aaron Rodgers, who's a super smart guy, he sat in that chair. Love him. He told a story about, I don't know where he was, somewhere in the South, and his friend walked out on the porch together. They were not drunk. They were not asleep, 2 people. And they saw a giant thing that the 2%. This was no. Smack. They were like,
thing was eyewitness testimony. I got abducted. I got this. I saw that. Now everybody's got a camera. NASA's setting up a clearinghouse. You take your smartphone, take a picture of your UFO, and the metadata has your location, the angle of the phone, the direction. You send it in.
Okay.
And they can collate this.
I just want to ask this on a more philosophical level.
Okay. This could be good. Philosophical. We need to get Neil out of just the hard number. And we know that you know the numbers. What is it that you think about the numbers? That's the interesting part. And Bill, a fucking moron. Like, how have you been in TV for 20, 25 plus years? And you're like, well, let's not have the interesting conversation. I'm honestly flabbergasted. I was so excited that these are 2 big names that are, that we don't talk about all the time. I'd heard they'd gotten into it, which they did for a little bit before he cut and run. And I'm so excited, like, all right, word up. I'm getting a backlog of clips, making sure I'm mad clips from this. People are going to love this. This is, I mean, if it weren't for you guys, this night would be a whole goddamn waste. So shout out to you guys. So the soul said ultra crepidarian. Not sure 100% get it, but I do. But I think I do, and I like that. Explain more, indie film. Yeah. Please give us a definition, if you will.
Just why wouldn't they? And I think we should just be happy that they're monitoring and not attacking. But what? It makes sense to me that, first of all, there could be other people in the universe, other beings.
Sure.
And there's an awful lot of people who have similar stories about similar sort of looking creatures. Mm-hmm. That book Communion, I don't know.
Yeah, that started it. That set the standard for what an alien should look like.
Okay.
With the triangular face, big almond eyes.
Yes, people seem to have the same story. now we have military people, Navy fighter jets testify in Congress. We've seen things we cannot explain. It could be China has a technology we don't.
Oh, you mean the same shit that it's been for the last 70 years?
Obviously, we don't know. We just need to keep an eye on that. And yes, about this,
Remember the movie.
We
Good.
tried not to wipe you out,
Day the Earth
but
Stood
you
Still.
assholes are just. We may need this planet, and you're fucking it
I'm
up.
glad you remembered.
So we're going in a different direction. with
So
planet Earth.
my reaction is, I want to meet the aliens. I just need better evidence than
Right.
what has been presented.
Right.
So if they are aliens, I would like better evidence than simple eyewitness sworn testimony.
So he doesn't believe that aliens are possible, or I guess possible is not the right word there, but he doesn't believe that it's infinitely more likely than not that we are not alone in the universe. Ultra crepidarian. Spot on.
In science, what you swear on is not the measure of what is true. It's just the measure of what you think is true in your mind. But I need better data than that.
But what do you think Aaron Rodgers saw? What do you think happened that night?
I don't know. He's just a football player. He couldn't have possibly been able to use his eyes in the same way that I use my eyes, because my eyes are twinged and recorded and ready to see what's actually out there. Aaron Rodgers, yeah, he could throw a football. I'm sure he could throw a football fine, Green, but I know all about the universe. That's what I expect him to say. We have learned some new words. Education is definitely important. Thank you.
The universe brims with mysteries, and I don't know.
Yeah, but this one seemed kind of obvious. A giant.
So that must be why. I met him at a Rangers game in the Garden.
I just feel.
I met him at a Rangers, and he's new to the city. He's a small town guy.
Boy, did he take that.
I know. So I said, "Look, I felt very, very."
Comment of the night from Pooh Cooter. Oh my God! Said Biden. He's just an ultra decrepit Aryan. Oh my God. Cheers to that. God damn. God damn. God damn. God damn.
This is my town, you know.
Yeah.
And director of the planetarium.
Yeah.
Come by. I told him this. And now, why should anyone ever act on that? But he did. So
of course he did.
So in the 2-week gap between the last exhibition game and the first game, I got a call from his agent that said he wants to come by and visit the planetarium.
Cool.
I said, bring him by. And then they said, oh, but can he bring 25 of
Right. He does that. He goes to Broadway shows like that.
With his whole crew.
Yeah, with like 25 jets.
Yeah. And so then they canceled at the last minute, and then he tears up his Achilles heel. So I think I could have given him some.
Yes. Absolutely.
Physics advice so that wouldn't have happened.
I know, but what a badass. A guy who gets the job in New York and goes, you know what? I'm so macho. I'm going to take a bunch of fucking football players out to every show on Broadway and Taylor Swift's show. It was brilliant because, you know, New York.
I would have had fun with them. They didn't come by.
New York is Broadway too.
Yep.
Popular on
race car driver. Patrick, yeah.
Really?
Had he come by, totally.
I go back to there.
Independent.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
Data.
I'm done. Can't do it. I can't do it. This is the most dumb conversation that we've ever covered, and I apologize to you guys. And I promise I will never, ever do a show without watching at least some of it first. I try to have, you know, a raw reaction so that I don't need this anymore. I try to have a raw reaction and see it with you guys. But clearly, and usually I'll just skip through, kind of see like, okay, there's some good moments here and whatever. I apologize for this one. I have nothing to say. This was not what I wanted to be. This was not what I thought it was going to be. But hey, we got to take L's sometimes. I still had fun with you guys. So I'm very glad that you guys are here with me. If this was one of my early shows where there was just nobody here and I'm just fucking watching this by myself, I would have thank you guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. So here's what I'm gonna do. If you are not a member, everybody who is watching right now live can get a 24-hour member pass so that we can go to the after party and hang out. So if you are not a channel member, come on in the I could just drop the link here. Click this link. And if you're already in the server, just send me a DM. We're going to head over to the after party. And if you are watching right now, you do have a day pass because I'll fuck this up. So we are headed to the exclusive after party. Come on over with us. Thank you guys. I really apologize. You know, obviously we still had some stuff to talk about. We still had some things to look out for. We still had some valuable things to see, but I want to do better shows than what we just did. So as Zippy says, that's Neil. But we did all learn the word Kino, so all is well. Awesome. Thank you guys for being so gracious. I really do appreciate you guys. Big shout out to our comment of the night. Biden is just an ultra decrepit Aryan. Brilliant. Let's also say thank you to Zippy the Strange with the gifted membership, and of course the sponsor of the stream, Unwanted Foe, with the $2 tinfoil hat and 5 gifted memberships. Goddamn. Thank you, brother. Thank you. You guys, those of you who are pillars of this community, whether it's because you're always here, whether it's because you're always giving great commentary, or whether it's because you're giving me your hard-earned money to help this be what it can be. You guys mean so much to me. That's why I'm frustrated about this show and why I'm trying to move beyond it, because I'm going to sulk about it and get in my head about it. So before that happens, let's head over to the after party. Again, if you are watching and you are not a member, then you have a free day pass to the entire Discord server. Just click the link and send me a DM and we'll get it all sorted out. Thank you so much for hanging out, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I don't know how much you could have, but I promise I tried my best. And hey, we had Morty in stream most of the time. So thank you. Once again, this has been Morty, and I have been your host, Lech, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Until next time, guys, I am out of here. Peace.